Okay, welcome back. This is Polynomials. This will be a quick video, unlike the other ones that were really long. This one will just be quick. The purpose of this, I just want to show you how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide polynomials. We'll do factoring later on. There'll be another video on factoring to come later. But for now, this is just for those of you who've been absent or you just need a little extra help. And you can see right here, this area, just some polynomials I got, some screenshots I got from Google. Okay, like I said, this is going to be pretty quick. Let me just go through this real quick and make sure that we have a really good understanding of this. Okay, if you look at this whole entire thing, this is a polynomial. This has four terms. One, two, three, four terms. We call 2 the leading coefficient. We call 5 a coefficient. And we call 4, or negative 4, a coefficient. We call this 7 right here the constant because there's no variable attached to it. And what we want to do is just kind of recognize this as a four-term polynomial. Poly means many. It's also a third degree polynomial because that is your largest exponent. Now don't confuse that with something like this. This is a monomial down here. This would be degree 7 because you would add them all up because there's no plus or minus sign in between this. So this would be a 7th degree polynomial, whereas this would be a third degree polynomial because that's your largest exponent. Okay. And let's see, is there anything else you need to know about this? I think that's good. You might be asked to find the y-intercept here. In that case, all the x's become 0, and you're left with this 7. So the y-intercept would also be 7, would also be the constant here. Okay, that's pretty much it for polynomials. I just want to make sure you know how to do that. Okay, let's start off with adding polynomials. We added polynomials, and what we want to do is we want to find all of our equivalent terms. So we have an a cubed. There's no a cubed here, and there's an a cubed here. That's a 1. Now let's just add up all of the a cubes. We have 7 and negative 1, which is 6. I'm not going to put these in standard form right now. I'm just going to just go ahead, just want to show you the basics here. Okay, and you can cross them off as you go if you want to. Okay, and then the a squareds, you have a 2a squared, a 3a squared, and a 4a squared. Add them all up, you're going to get 9a squared. So we'll add 9a squared to this right here. Okay, and then you want to take all your a's, just the a terms. You have a negative 1, and we're going to add to it negative 4, which is negative 5, so negative 5a. And you want your answer to be in what we call standard form, highest exponent. So 3, 2, 1, that's a 1. And then your constants, 7 plus 6 is 13. 13 minus 8 is 5. So that's how you add polynomials together. You want to make sure that you combine all your like terms. Don't touch the exponents. You're only adding the numbers, adding and subtracting the numbers. Don't touch the exponents. Okay, same thing with subtracting. And one way you can do this, again, like I said in class, is you can change this to a plus sign if you want to, as long as you change the sign of everything that comes after it. So I'm going to turn all of the signs after it to its opposite sign. So now I'm going to take the 1x cubed plus negative 7x cubed, which is negative 6x cubed. I'm going to take negative 3x squared plus negative 5x squared, and I'm going to get negative 8x squared. I've got a 5x here. There's no x term here, so it's just going to be 5x. And there's no constant here, so I'm going to take really the 0 constant and then add 12 to it and get 12. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is subtracting polynomials. And even subtracting can become an addition problem if you do it that way. Change it to a plus sign and then change all the signs afterwards if you want to. And there's your answer. Okay, so we added and we subtracted. What we haven't done is multiplied. Multiply polynomial. Let me show you FOIL. I'm just going to use FOIL for this. It's going to be first term times first term, so that's 3x squared. This might get a little messy, but it's okay, we can do it. Outer, 3x times 4 is 12x. Inner, 1 times x is just 1x. I'm going to have to erase these after I do each one because it's going to take a lot of room. And then 1 times 4 is 4. Now, you need to combine your middle terms. So you're going to get 3x squared plus 13x. 12x plus 1x is 13x plus 4. And this is really important that you know how to FOIL, because later on when we factor, this is going to be the question right here, and this will be the answer. So we need to know how to FOIL, because this is going to be how you check your factoring question. And there's your answer. And your answer is usually going to have a quadratic, a linear, and a constant. Quadratic is first, followed by linear, followed by constant. Okay, that's the first one. I'm just going to do these real quick. I'm going to just do one and then erase it, and then do another one. In no particular order, I'll do this one. 2x times x is 2x squared. Remember, we're not adding here. We're multiplying. It's not 3x. 2x times x is 2x squared. And then outer is 6x. And then the middle is 2x. And then the last terms, 2 times 3, is 6. And when you do FOIL, you just get a little smiley face here. There's the eyes, there's the eyes, mouth. Okay, it's kind of cute. Okay, middle terms. So you're going to get the bottom up at the bottom, 2x squared plus 8x plus 6. And we're done. It's just a process called FOIL, and there's your answer. Okay, couple more. I'll go over here. 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 5 times 2 is 10, and then x times x squared. And then your outer, 5x times 1 is 5x. See, sometimes we're going to throw a negative sign in here. It gets a little tricky. You're going to get negative 3 times 2. Remember that? Treat that like a negative 3. And you're going to get negative 6x. And then you got negative 3 times 1, which is negative 3. Now, combine your like terms. So you got your quadratic in the beginning, 10x squared. There's always going to be just one quadratic. You have to combine your linears. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. You don't need the 1. You can just put minus x minus 3. And there's your answer. Okay, moving on. And again, the good thing about the video is you can rewind it. You can listen to it many, many times if you need to. I'm just going to keep going. 3x times x is 3x squared. Remember, we're not adding. We're multiplying. 3x squared. And then outer is 6x. FOIL is really, like I said in class, just a double distribution. That's all it is. But it's just a set pattern. I like it because you're always remembering to multiply everything by everything at least twice. Whereas sometimes distribution can get a little confusing. So you do this, it's just a set way. You're going to get 4 terms every time. Okay, so combine your middle terms. So you're going to get 3x squared plus 2x, 6x minus 4x is 2x, minus 8. And we're done. Okay, despite everything I said about the good things about FOIL, and there really are, you can't always FOIL. Sometimes when you take a trinomial times a binomial, and by the way, the binomial can be put over here too, so that whichever comes first doesn't matter. It's going to be the same answer. Remember the commutative property. Same answer. 8 times 6 is the same as 6 times 8. So I can actually put 2x minus 5 here and do the same thing, but I won't. I'll just leave it like it is. So I'm going to take 4x squared times 2x, and I'm going to get 8x cubed. I'm going to take 4x squared times negative 5, and I'm going to get negative 20x squared. Okay, I took the 4x squared times each one of these. Now, okay, let me just, I didn't do this in class, but let me erase this as I go. And now I'm going to take, and this is gone, we won't need this again. Now I'm going to take the negative 3x and multiply it by each one of these. Now watch your signs. Negative 3x times 2x is negative 6x squared. Negative 3x times negative 5 is positive 15x. Okay, so that gave me 4 terms. But I'm going to have 6 terms at the end because I've got 3 times 2. 3 terms times 2 terms will give me 6 terms. So now I got negative 1 times this will be negative 2x. I can continue writing it right down here, no big deal. And then negative 1 times negative 5 is 5. Remember, we're multiplying here, not adding. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. Now, we have some work to do. We got to combine the x squareds, and we got to combine the x's. 15x minus 2x. Okay, the first term is always going to be by itself, the cube. So 8x cubed. Okay, these need to be combined. Negative 20 minus 6 is negative 26. x squared. Don't forget to have the x squared. And then for the x's, you got 15 minus 2, which is 13. So 13x. And then plus 5. And we're done. That's a binomial times a trinomial, or trinomial times binomial. It doesn't matter. Okay, and that's it. Bring any questions with you to class, please, because if you're watching this video during your 3-day weekend, we are going to have a quiz on all of this stuff soon. Okay. Oh, special types real quick. Sorry, I was getting ready to get into division. That'll be the last slide. Special types. Okay. A lot of you on the homework just squared the first term and squared the last term. You cannot do that. When you see something squared, you have to write it twice. So you got to write 2x minus 6 and then another 2x minus 6. Even though there's a shortcut to do this, I want you to write it out like this. Now, FOIL. So what you're going to get now is 2x times 2x, which is 4x squared. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but this is cloned. Same thing. 2x minus 6, 2x minus 6. 4x squared. Now, the outer 2x times negative 6 is negative 12x. But here's the thing, folks. You're going to get the same thing in the middle. Also a negative 12x. What happens is it clones. It doubles. And then your last term, you got negative 6 times negative 6, which is positive 36. Now don't stop here, please. Please don't stop here. You got to combine your middle. You're going to get 4x squared, 4x squared. Okay, negative 12 and negative 12 is negative 24. Negative 24. This is so important that you all know how to do this because we're going to be doing this in reverse mode in the fourth quarter. And there's your answer. And I'll show you how to factor this in the next video. Okay, last special type is this one here, and I know we did this really fast in class, but that's why I'm putting it in the video. Notice the first terms are the same, the last terms are the same, but the signs are opposite. That makes a big difference. So when you FOIL this, you're going to get 9x squared. I always like these ones, even when I was a student. Minus 15x minus, remember negative always wins, negative 15x. And then in the middle, you're going to get positive 15x. And then your last term is 5 times negative 5, which is negative 25. Now here's what I want you to notice. Negative 15x and 15x cancel. These are gone. So your answer is going to become 9x squared. So you're going to have a quadratic. You're not going to have a linear this time. It's going to be a quadratic minus the constant. And this is a special type. This is called the difference. Difference is subtraction of two squares. 9 is a perfect square and 25 is a perfect square. We will factor this in the fourth quarter. Okay, everybody's favorite. Everybody's favorite. Now we did this exact same one in class, but I want to have it on video in case you just need a little extra time to look at it. Okay, always start by putting a 1 here. If there's not a 1 here, put a 1. It makes it a little easier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this first term, 1x, and divide it into this first term. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about the negative 3. Don't worry about all of this. You're going to take this term divided by this term. So off to the side, let me just show you. I'm going to put 7x cubed divided by 1x. Now just think about this. 1 goes into 7 times. X, that's a 1, goes into x cubed. So 3 minus 1 is 2, so 7x squared. Okay, I'm going to stop there just for a second, let you kind of look at that, write that, and kind of visualize that. Okay, now think about what you did a long time ago. I'm going to take this number up top here, 7x squared. Now you don't always have to write this out, but I'm going to write it out because you're learning it. I'm going to take this number times this whole thing. That's what you did in elementary school. We're just doing it with x's. That's the only difference, folks. We're doing it with x's and exponents. It's the same idea. Now distribute this, and you're going to get 7x cubed. These will always be the same numbers, 7x cubed. You should always have the same number here. Everything should be exactly the same. Minus 7 times 3 is 21. 21x squared. Okay, so how I got this right here is I took this top term times this entire thing. Distribute, and you get that. Okay, I'm going to have to erase as I go because it's going to get really messy. Now, in elementary school, what'd you do here? You subtracted. These are gone. These will always disappear. So what you have is negative 17 minus 21, which is 4. So 4x squared when you combine this. Now, a 2-term does not go into a 1-term, so we need to bring down the next term, just like you did in elementary school. Bring down the next number. You brought down the next number. We're just going to bring down the next term. Now, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to take 4x squared divided by 1x. So off to the side, I'll just show you 4x squared divided by 1x. Now, 1 goes into 4 times, positive 4. There's no negative signs anywhere, so positive 4. And then x squared divided by x1 is just x. By the way, up top here, you should always have standard form. So that if that's a 2, this needs to be a 1. This will have to be a constant. It has to be in order. Okay, let me erase that because things get really messy. Now, I'm going to take 4x times x minus 3. I'm going to take 4x times x minus 3. And what that's going to give me is 4x squared. So again, always the same thing. These should always be the same. Minus 12x. Okay, Mr. Purdy, how'd you get that? Look, I just distributed 4x. I took this 4x times x minus 3. And I got this thing right here. Okay, now let me erase this because it really does get messy. Subtract, you did that a long time ago. Subtract, same thing, doesn't change. This is gone. Negative 18 minus 12 is negative 6. So negative 6x. Bring down your last term, 18. Now, kind of a weird question here. You're going to have to take negative 6x divided by 1x. So it looks like this. It's negative 6x divided by 1x. Now, these x's are gone. So negative 6 divided by 1 is just negative 6. Now, when you're all done, you should have exactly the same thing. So if I take negative 6 times x minus 3, I'm actually going to get negative 6x plus 18. You always want exactly the same thing at the end. Always in this class. In Algebra 2, you're going to get some remainders when you do this. Okay, that's a little different. This is one extra step. So when you subtract all of this, this is all gone. It's all gone. And here's your answer. I'm going to put a little oval around it. This is your answer. And how would you check it? You would take your answer times this part right here, times x minus 3, and you should get what's inside the house. And you're done. Bring your questions to class, and you know I am always, always, always